Okay. Can you hear me well? Fantastic. So, hello dear friends. It's a pleasure to be here with you again. My name is Francisco Litvay, and today I'll be presenting how you can get a second citizenship in Latin America and why you should do it. So, some of you may know me from other Liberty in Our Lifetimes. I'm the founder of Settee, which is the Brazilian branch of Statelos, sponsor of the event. We have a booth up front, by the way. Currently, the biggest internationalization consulting in the German-speaking world and the Portuguese-speaking world. And I'm mostly in charge of our operations in Latin America. So I'm taking care of residencies and citizenships and tax structuring in that region of the world in a daily basis. And within this work, we usually call citizenship the queen of flag theory. Because citizenship defines where you can travel, live, work, do business, bank, own property, get essential documents from, get consular support from. Your residency may define your taxes and the regulations you live under, but your citizenship defines your sovereignty, your freedom, and your independence from just a single government. Now, a lot of the audience here is German, and the Germans actually have some pretty good news this year because starting the end of June, you can finally start getting a second citizenship. You couldn't do that before. So many of you might be wondering, where does it make the most sense to get a second citizenship? And I would say if you have the ancestry, right, a grandpa from another country or a wife from a different country, then go for it. That's probably going to be the easiest route for almost all of you. And otherwise, there's the citizenships by investment, of course, if you have over 6 figures laying around to purchase a passport outright. But if you're not within these cases, then we're usually talking about citizenship by naturalization, right, by time of residency in a different country. And when we look around the world, there's really one continent that stands out for having both good passports and low requirements. That's the Americas. Solid passports, low requirements. That is still an entire continent, though, so let's narrow it down a bit. Where does it make sense within the Americas to try to pursue a second passport? To answer that question, we can look at a number of different criteria. Legal criteria, for example, such as how many countries can you travel to visa-free? What countries can you travel to visa-free? Is it an important country? Is it a country you want to visit? How long does it take until you can apply for citizenship also? And then when you apply, how long does it take until that actually gets processed, until you have passport in hand? And will this citizenship give you mobility benefits in other countries as well, or really just in the one that you're naturalized in? And of course, you can consider other criteria, such as how safe is it, how livable is it, what's the language like, is that a language I want to learn, what's the cost of living, what's the freedom in this country like, where is it trending, is there maybe a free city project in the area that we could consider living in? And with that in mind, I would say that these are the top 3 countries by naturalization in the world. Argentina, Brazil, and Chile, and they're all in South America. What do these countries have in common? First of all, they're all members of the Mercosur Immigration Treaty. So Mercosur is an economic bloc in South America, and the members of the Mercosur Immigration Treaty have, if you're a national, you have the right to get residency and work and study and do business in all of these countries here with minimal requirements. I, as a Brazilian, can go and request residency in Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, and of course, my own country, Brazil, just by showing a clean criminal record. And that's it. No investment, no proof of income, no job offer, no professional qualifications, nothing. So while let's say, oh, I really like Mexico, you can get a Mexican passport, but that really only gives you access to Mexico, or Panama only gives you access to Panama. These countries give you not only a plan B, but a plan B, C, D, E, F, G, all at once. Now, of course, within South America, these are also the best passports with the best reputations. It's a different thing traveling as Argentinian and a Colombian. And also, they have a large variety of lifestyles to offer. So these are really big countries with a lot of cities you can choose from, different from, let's say, a Uruguay, which is a nice tax haven, not discrediting as a residency, but there's really like only one city that you could live there. Everything else is just small villages. So all these countries offer a lot of options to choose from. And of course, quick citizenship routes for parents of locals and spouses. So by parents, I mean you can give birth in these countries, then your child will be automatically a national, and then you, as the parent, can not only get residency, but a fast-track route to citizenship. Now, what sets these countries apart? Why are they unique? So Argentina is up here because it is the fastest citizenship you can get in the world, both if you're giving birth and under normal conditions. You can get it in as fast as 0 years, like at least to apply, and as long as 2 years under regular circumstances. Brazil is mentioned here because it's not only a member of Mercosur, but also of the CPLP, which is the Community of Portuguese-speaking countries, which in turn gives you mobility benefits, the right to get an easier residency with less requirements, in all of the countries in blue here, which is Portugal, Angola, Mozambique, Cape Verde, São Tomé, Equatorial Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, and Timor-Leste. So you have two completely different blocks that you have mobility benefits in, uncorrelated, good for diversification. Then you also have Canada here because it is the strongest passport in Latin America. You have visa-free travel to Canada, to the US, and you can also get travel benefits within APEC, which is basically visiting these countries visa-free if you're a business traveler. Now, let's walk through the process of obtaining the citizenship in these countries in practice so you can see how this looks like. First of all, how can I get residency? How can I live there? So in Argentina and Chile, you can show 1.5K of passive income and get a rentista visa, very popular in LATAM. In Brazil, if you're a pensioner and you can show $2,000 of monthly income, then you can also get an immediate permanent residency. Otherwise, Argentina has a fairly popular student visa. Brazil, you can purchase a property and get residency, starting at about $125,000. And in both Brazil and Chile, you can also open a local company, and then in some cases, make a big investment. In others, have an actual operation activity and hire yourself as the director. And of course, in all of these, you also have the option of marrying a local or having a baby there. Easiest route. Now, how long until you can apply for permanent residency? Here, there's a shorter time frame if you have a local child or a local spouse, and then you have the regular time frame. So you can take, it can be as fast as 0 years, immediate PR, or as far as 3 years in the case of Argentina. How long until you can apply for citizenship? Here we again have a shorter and a longer time frame. You can see Argentina would be the fastest in every circumstance, but Brazil can also be very fast, and then Chile is the one that usually takes longer, but it's again the strongest passport, so you can consider that trade-off for yourself. Now, how much time does one have to spend in the country so you can actually qualify for citizenship? You're going to see that unlike some other countries, like, Paraguay, you actually have to make a commitment to the country if you want to work towards PR or citizenship. It can be as little as 6 months in Argentina and as far as 10 months a year in Chile. So for Chile, you really have to want Chile to make this happen. Now, once you hand in your application, how long does the naturalization process take? Here again, we have a wide variety. Brazil is usually the fastest, taking about a year to process it. Chile is the longest, taking up to 2-3 years. And Argentina is currently somewhere in the middle at 1.5 years. And the $1 million question, will I have to pay taxes if I want to get these passports and live in these countries? Sadly, yes. None of these are the traditional tax havens. But there are ways to legally optimize it so you can pay smaller amounts, usually way less than you would pay in most European countries. So for example, Brazil currently has a 15% flat tax option on foreign profits if you have a foreign company. Chile has a territorial tax regime, so you pay no tax on foreign-sourced incomes for the first 3 years of your residency. And Argentina is currently doing an income tax reform, and they also have this self-employed micro company regime where you can invoice up to $70,000 a year, and you pay a flat, small fee. So enough income to bring to Argentina and live well in the country. Now, I'd like to end this talk by remembering what Plan B is all about. Because some of us flag theory and relocation enthusiasts here often end up treating this as some kind of a hobby, right? Like some people collect coins, some people collect brief stamps, we collect passports and residencies. I am a Brazilian-Austrian dual national. I'm Brazilian by birth and from my parents, and I'm Austrian because of my grandfather, who passed the Austrian citizenship to my father, who then passed it to me. And ever since I was a child, I wanted to learn German so that I could speak German to my grandpa and so that I could read the books in German in his library. And I had this fascination for Austrian history, you know, this small country nowadays that used to be a big empire and contributed to so many things. And I really, you know, felt this connection to this country. I wanted to live there. I wanted to see what it was like for myself, you know, the country where my grandpa came from. And I spent the entire last year of my high school planning the logistics and the organization of how I was going to go and study in Austria. And study in Austria I did. I lived there for 4 years. And because I spoke German, and because I was also in the Central European time zone, I ended up qualifying and getting a job opportunity at the Free Private Cities, Inc. back then, now the Free Cities Foundation, working first as a direct assistant to Titus, and then doing more things together. And through Titus, I ended up meeting a lot of the German libertarian scene, and also Christoph Heumann, who is a Free Cities ambassador and the founder of Staatenlos, with whom I'm working with today, doing residencies and citizenships and all that. So it's crazy to think about this butterfly effect, right? If it wasn't for my grandfather passing down the Austrian citizenship to me, maybe I wouldn't have been on this life path that took me to this stage and talking and presenting to you today. So, you know, all of these citizenships here, Chile, Argentina, and Brazil, it's not only like, oh, here's a travel document, right, a passport, and can I go visa-free to 2 more countries, Burundi, I don't know. It's about you having the connection to a different country, the access to these networks and these relationships, and the ability to live and to work and to study and to invest and to make faster connections with other people in this case, not only a country, but an entire continent. Who knows how many doors will be opened to you, to your children, to your grandchildren, to your great-grandchildren, to your spouse, to your entire bloodline for something that you can acquire with as few as 2 years of your time. I mean, if you want to think of a gift to leave to the next generations, I think this is one of the best ones you can possibly get, right? And so for 2 years, I think that's a good trade-off. And if you're interested in residency, citizenships, tax optimization, and overall internationalizing your life in Latin America, Europe, or other parts of the world, you can reach out to me directly on my email, on my WhatsApp. You can check out our website, Staatenlos in German, Denationalize Me in English, Settee in Portuguese. And with this QR code, you can actually fill a quick form and you'll get a free ebook on flag theories, like 20, 30 pages, with all practical first steps of how you can internationalize your life. Thank you very much. And I'm open to any questions if we still have time for it.
So I have a question. So recently Paraguay is much hyped on social media, etc., because I think there is zero tax on foreign investment. So could you comment on Paraguay from your perspective, please?
Of course, we work a lot with Paraguay. It's currently our most popular residency for very good reason. Low minimum stay requirements, no tax on foreign sourced incomes, very easy requirements to get. All of that, Paraguay is amazing. But for citizenship, it's not the best passport in South America. It also takes 5 years to get, and there's not really a shorter time frame with kids or with spouse. It's really 2 years TR, 3 years of PR. And Paraguay, you also have to have significant ties to the country, like buy a property, have local tax declaration, something that the other countries don't usually require. And it's also a process that when you pass the naturalization test and the language test, then your application has to be personally signed by all of the Supreme Court ministers. So that takes a while, right? So it's a great residency. But if you're pursuing citizenship in South America, I think these are better options normally. All right. If you have any questions afterwards, we'll be at the booth from Stadtlos. You can find us today, tomorrow, all day. Thank you very much.